another session on balance and harmony hour, where we talk about living a fulfilled life, avoiding stress, and becoming more productive. Today, I'm not alone. Today, I have a guest with me. I think this is the second time I'm having a male guest. Most of my guests are always women. So, and I'm so privileged, to have the power of a man around. Thank you so much for being part of today's session. So, let me introduce our guest. I met our guest on a platform where great minds are. You know, they say, "Show me your friends, I will show you who you are." So I was so privileged to be part of that group, and I met him there. If not, I don't know where I would have been able to meet him. His name is Coach he. Oh God, forgive me, Coach Iyo Orienru. He will pronounce it much better than myself when I introduce him. He's a self-mastery and leadership coach. I'll call him a pastor. He's also a chartered accountant. And we have had some chartered accountant here on the program. And he's a certified Maxwell leadership coach. And if you know, you know. And he organizes different programs based on leadership. So if you're a leader here, you're an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you are in the right place. He's a convener of the Leadership and Business Success Workshop for CEOs, top executive, business owners. Self mastery is for high achievers. He organizes a 6 week online immersion course. So you that you are watching us, you are getting some secret into it for free. For free. I'm taking his hour for free. So thank you so much, sir, for accepting to be here today. The floor is yours. Tell us before you start a little bit about yourself and what your journey has been before we go into self mastery for greater achievement.
Okay. Good afternoon from Lagos, Nigeria. It's a great privilege to be with our powerhouse lady, Coach Ife, on a special program. Like she has introduced, my name is Igho Onyeru. Igho means money,
Ooh,
Money, and Onyeru means goodwill.
that's nice.
By the grace of God, a chartered accountant, like you said, I'm also a self mastery expert and a leadership coach. I will say that I became an accountant by just interest, but I'm a leadership coach and a self mastery expert by calling. Because while growing up, I thought once you're an accountant or you work in the bank, you have made it in life. So that was why my initial higher institution qualification, I did accounting and actually worked my way into the banking industry. But by the time I wrote my first book, The Miracle of Purpose 1999, I realized that I was not called to be in the bank to be counting people's money. So I strategically left banking in 2003 and started pursuing my passion since then, uh, where I now did some more certification, Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Nigeria Institute of Training and Development, John Maxwell certification, and then we also incorporated our consulting firm, Rohai Consulting Services, where we provide human resources and financial consulting services. But in between 2010 and 2023, I had a break. I was deployed to work with my mentor, Tunde Fowler, at Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. He actually called me and said, come and transform our training school. So 2010 to 2023, I was Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. where I trained over 3,000 employees on tax related matters, on soft skills, and the like. Then 2023, I retired. Then I came back fully to Rohai Consulting, to my first love, and that is what we've been doing. So, like I said, I am doing this because it's my call. Normally, I haven't retired from Lagos State Internal Revenue Service. Most of my colleagues, they are into tax consulting. But when I was getting ready for retirement from that agency, I had an epiphany, like the Lord asking me, why are you thinking of going into qualifying as an accountant, as a tax person, and a tax practitioner? Is it because of the money? What if you have all the money in the world? Will you be doing tax? And the answer was no. So that is why I veered back to really doing what I know is my passion. Although, of course, because I I always teach excellence all the time, I have been known to be an expert on personal income tax. That's my area of specialization in Nigeria. Personal income tax is for taxes of states. So they still call upon me to do that. For example, I am a part-time lecturer in the University of Lagos where I teach in the master's program, Executive Management in Taxation. But no matter how good I am there, this is my call, leadership, because it resonates with my life's mission. My life's mission is keep on learning and impacting others, letting them know that life is worth living. So as I learn and I improve, my assignment is to impact others and to let everybody know that life is worth living. My sister, life is worth living. Oh, it's worth
Yes.
living. So that makes me to smile at everybody, to greet at everybody, to give whatever help. So I do not meet you and you remain the same. You will receive some transformation. So that is where I am at. Then specializing is also due to my experience. I realize, having worked in the private sector, having worked in the public sector, I noticed that there is a commonality among them. That is, a lot of employees, a lot of workers, they do not really know what it is to put in the extra and to actually take control of their lives, to actually take control of their emotions, to actually take control of their feelings, and to actually take control of their thoughts. Even people at executive levels, you find somebody getting angry and you just say that that is the way I am born. Once I'm angry, until I slap somebody, I will not get rest. That is lack of self control. And in the Bible, self control is part of the fruit of the Spirit.
Yeah.
So I now realize that, and I also find out that once you are able to really control all of these, because I have two master's degree. My first master's degree was on effective leadership, and I focused on 7 habits of highly effective people, where Stephen Covey taught of inner victory before outer victory. And your inner victory speaks about you, your life. What will you want somebody, what you want people to say about you after you have gone? Not lies, but you can live with the end. You can live with the end in mind and begin to live that life. So I realized that, so that inner victory is lacking. And the only way to do that is the ability to control yourself. So I first of all took time to also imbibe this concept, and I'm still imbibing them. Then I now dug deeper to see how I can bring about transformation, because I believe in transformation. I believe that we are called to live a transformed life. The Holy Book says, "Be ye renewed Be renewed by the transformation of your mind, not just conform. So having experienced so much benefits in my life, imagine moving into the career of moving to the tax industry in 2010, and in 13 years I was able to get to the highest echelon in taxation in Nigeria. I am a fellow of the institute. I was one time a member of the governing council, and when we talk about tax, even up until this time, I'm still talking about tax. For example, in October, I'm going to be a keynote speaker in a conference of an association where we will discuss the recent reformation in taxation. So within 13 years, I rose to that height and was able to get it because I told myself that before I leave this tax industry, I want to get to the height. The very first day I joined Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, as they were giving my employment letter, I was telling myself, I was asking them, what are the requirements to be a member of the institute? I got it, and I told myself, whatever it will take, I want to be known. And I was able to get to the highest echelon in 13 years. So I teach people who have been in taxation for 30 years plus. They still ask me questions up until now. And secondly, like I told you, I'm a lecturer in Unilag, University of Lagos. I did not apply. They knew about my work, and on strong recommendation, I was headhunted that my skills are some of the things that are needed to help. And I like it because I see it as passing the baton to the next generation. So if
Impact.
yeah, through all of this, God has so helped me, it will not be fair for me not to pass in the baton. So what I'm doing is a call, so that by the grace of God, when I meet my creator, I will be able to get a commendation from him. He will pat me on the back and he will say, well done, thou good and faithful servant, enter into the joy of your rest. Okay, so let me say a little bit now about self mastery and why it is very, very important. The word self mastery looks like a very big word, but it simply means control. Self mastery simply means control, ability to control your feelings, control your life, control your time, control your anger, control circumstances, control how you think in pursuit of excellence in life. So you are not just controlling them to sit down, you are controlling them so that you can pursue excellence in life, so that you can be an extraordinary person who is a solution provider wherever you find yourself, wherever you see yourself. Once you are able to do that, then you make this world a better place than you met it. So, how can you be able to do that? Or rather, let me say one of the benefits of self mastery is that you are no more toxic. You are no more toxic. Rather, you are salt, bringing sweetness. You are light, bringing direction. First to yourself, and then to your world and to your environment, your home, your community, your associations, etc. I'll give you an example. Let me digress a bit. I'll give you an example. One of the estates I was residing with my family, I was the chairman of the community development association of that estate for 8 years. Every election, they will say, no, you don't change a winning team. Then I insisted that it is at the time when the ovation is loudest that you
I
leave the seat.
see.
I now insisted that it is time for me to pass it on to some other people. So those are some of the benefits. So you become a light, you become a salt, and you become a solution provider. And the more you do that, knowing that you're an assignment from your creator God, so you are relying on him, and is giving you whatever guidelines, whatever intuition for the solution that is needed at any time and everywhere. That is about the benefit.
Wow.
Now, now let me now talk about how do we go about it. The first and foremost thing everybody in this call must take note of is the first thing is awareness. You know, we are told that where where you can diagnose the cause of a disease, it is 50% cured.
Yeah.
I think it was Plato that said that man, know thyself. Once you are aware of yourself, then you're on your way to self mastery. Then the second thing is determination to be a lifelong learner. After all, you are the one that taught me right now on how to enter StreamYard, on how to go and log in, and I did it. I am a lifelong learner. Anything to for me to learn anything new every day, I am always excited at it. Because the day you believe that you know it all, that is the beginning of your death. Hence, Miles Morrow said that the richest and most profitable place in the world is the cemetery. Because so many people go to the grave with so many potential and talents that they're supposed to have released to the world.
It's true.
So you normally end up by saying die empty. So I believe in that. I need to also die empty by keep learning. So like I said the first is awareness. Then the second one is the determination to be a lifelong learner, to keep learning and to keep improving. So once you're able to take care of your awareness, then the determination to learn, they will now back off to what are the things I must learn to master in order to be a solution to problems, both for myself and my family. And the starting point of the things to learn is personal effectiveness. So, personal effectiveness is the starting point, is the foundation of this lifelong transformation journey. It is the foundation. And you know, the foundation is very, very important. And when we say personal effectiveness, I always like simplifying things. There are three words that I always use to explain it. It is PET, P-E-T, P-E-T. So once you can remember pet, if you have a pet, a dog, a cat, whatever, then you can remember personal effectiveness. Because P stands for your personal talent, E stands for your energy. Sorry, 1 second. So, sorry about that.
It's
I never
okay,
knew
sir.
my phone was not in silence. So I said personal effectiveness is the foundation, and personal effectiveness, I gave an acronym for it as PET, PET. P stands for your personal talent, E stands for your energy, and T stands for your time. So your personal talent, your energy, and your time, using them towards what is most important in life to you. That is personal effectiveness. So my personal talent, my personal energy, and my time, I will make sure I guide them and use them for what is most important to me in life. Okay. So for the footballer, carrying football, going to practice, watching football matches, analyzing football matches, and making sure he has big sign up and big sign off fee, that is his life. So, and when he's doing that, is effective. But imagine me to not behave like that. Then I'm a round peg in a square hole. That is why if I watch football, there must be a winner. If no side is winning within the next 10 minutes, I leave it because I'm wasting my time. I don't belong to any club. All clubs that win is my club. Because I will I spend 90 minutes of my life to listen to somebody who is gaining millions and he will not even send me $1 for clapping for him. You know, so once you are able to know that I want to use my personal talent, energy, and time for what is most important, then the next thing is what is most important to you. Then that brings in, now I'm talking about what is most important to you. How do you determine it? You determine it by ensuring that you learn to allocate your time, because I have a whole book on time management, a whole book. Manage your time to manage your life. So, what is most important to you is finding out and allocating your time from things of lower value to things of higher value. Because there is nothing like I want to save time. Time is only allocated. If you don't have anything to do with your time, the internet and people and others will consume it. Nobody woke up this morning to say, I have 3 hours carried over from yesterday to make today 27 hours. Mba, it's not possible. So you allocate your time from things of lower value to things of higher value. And how do you determine that? You determine that by ensuring that you find out your purpose. So I am bringing everything together now. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Because your purpose is the reason why you are alive. Your purpose is the reason why you're taking oxygen and bring out carbon dioxide. Your purpose is the reason why you did not pass on in sleep last night. And God did not create a non-entity, because it takes the network of trillions of cells from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet for me to be very articulate. And those cells networking are not working in vain. So I have talked about allocating your time from things of lower value to higher value. But before then, you must be doing that in your purpose. And how and what is your purpose? Like I said, is your what you are called to do. And how do you know it? Very simple. You don't need a prophet to tell you this inside you. You just, like I said, awareness. So once you are aware that you want to grow, now find out, what do I love doing? What will I do if I have all the resources in this world? In my introduction, I told you the reason why I'm doing this is because I was able to answer that question. If money is not my problem, will I do tax? No. But this, what I'm doing now, is what I will do until I meet my creator. I will read, I will learn, I will impact people, I will counsel people, I will advise people. And normally, once I am in that, I'm in my element. It just flows. Okay, so I'm in my purpose. So once you're able to answer those simple questions, what will I do if money is not the problem? What is that thing I love doing whereby time is irrelevant? You go into what we call timeless awareness. There was a day when I was still in the banking industry, but I've already discovered my purpose and I was gradually pulling out. So I was on sick leave. I was at home. I was resting. And suddenly my friend called me and said, we are having a training at Airport Hotel. And tomorrow is on customer service. And the guy to handle it has just disappointed us now. And I said, who can do that within short notice? And I remember it is you. Then I called you. Please, can you come tomorrow? Remember, I was
Immediately
on Edo. I said yes. And immediately, every trace of malaria, whatever sickness vanished.
disappeared.
I picked up my notes, I prepared my lectures, I dressed up, I asked my staff to join me at the airport or airport hotel. I went, delivered a good paper, and my friend walked me to the car. So he was walking me to the car, and I told him that, you know, that I came from the sick bed to come and deliver this paper. He said, what? And I'm going back to sleep on that bed again. But watch it. If it was my bank that called me to come and work, the sickness
Yes.
will increase. You understand?
Well, that's
So
true.
that is
That's true.
that is living in your purpose. Because fishes are structured to swim. So they don't think about swimming. They are anointed to swim. So swimming is their life. You put a bird inside the river, it will die. Remove the fish from the river, tell it to swim in the air, to fly in the air, it will die. So once we find our purpose, we stay in our natural habitat, then we begin to thrive and not survive.
Can I say something? I
Go
believe
ahead.
that all things work together. Since the 1st of July,
Yeah.
I've been doing what they call my birthday countdown. I'll be 50 on Saturday. So every
Woo!
so every day I think of the things that have been a blessing to me that has helped me, and I
Yeah.
post it. So today's own was what has given me fulfillment,
Yeah.
what has made me continue, and that was my purpose and my calling. So it's so fun that we're talking about. And I get a lot of people that are lonely, they're unhappy, and I tell them, hey, find a purpose. When you know your purpose, when you wake up in the morning, you want to do that purpose, you want to continue doing it, and
Sorry,
loneliness
it
will
is the
go.
purpose that even wakes you up, because you will dream of one of those things and it wakes you up. You know exactly
I'm
where you're going.
telling
Sorry
you.
for cutting into.
No, I'm telling you. And if people would just understand that, you understand, like just like you said, when you are in your purpose, even when you are down, sometimes I have to tell myself, hey, I use that word shut down for myself now, to stop doing those things I like to do, because sometimes you have to stop it or else you break down.
Of
But when
course,
you're in
yes, yes.
your purpose, you feel less stressed. Just like you said, you are sick, but they call you for something, your purpose, immediately the strength comes. But the everything day you things you have to do every day, you don't have the strength, you don't have the power. So you speaking about it today is just a confirmation that our purpose and our calling, they are great. And what I want you to just go a bit in depth. People that are watching and saying, ah, how do I then know what my calling is? You said it a bit, but I want you to go a
Okay,
bit in depth. How do they know? This is my calling. This is what I'm passionate about. Let's help some lives today.
okay, fine. Before I go into that, do you know, and many people cannot believe it, that I'm a retiree? My colleagues, they always sit at home, read newspaper, but I told them I'm not a retiree, I'm a refiree. I changed the T to F. So I am refiring, I'm not
Ah,
retiring.
nice.
Okay, so now let's go a little bit deeper into this issue of purpose. Actually, we actually have a tool that we use. Of course, I won't be able to administer all that. This is a cost
Oh.
that people pay six figures for.
Please, if you need to know about this, I will drop his link on the comment section so that you can contact him and book that class, that online class. It's a 6 weeks online class.
Yeah. Now, but let me go a little bit deeper. The first is that you must, I've talked about awareness. I've talked about those questions. I've talked about what you like doing that do not, that time becomes of no relevance. I've talked about money. Then the third one is your why. What is that thing that brings anger to you? What is that thing that when you see it not being done, you are always very, very angry and you want to correct it? Is it in the society? Is it in your family? Is it around you? For me, my why, I find it from when I was a young boy. Before I was even 15, I lost my dad when I was 11. So I grew up with my mom, and I go to the market with her. And as from that time, I was always angry when I see people who don't live purposeful life, when I see people who are not fulfilled. Even though I was from an average family, I was not, I was never happy. And it keeps giving me anger. And guess what? Like 20 something years after, I was a guest speaker in a national conference in the same town I grew up. And I told them my why. People who knew my mom, who were in the meeting, went to now tell my mom that, look at Bros Igho. He said this was his why. And my mother said 100% correct. That is why this my son was never smiling when he's in the market. I was angry physically, and up until now, it is my wife. You don't feel sad. I don't see you sad in my environment, and I'm happy. You don't stay around me, and you are not improving. It is either you are going, you will tell me about what you want to do about your masters, about your course. Last month, I talked to the youths in the province of my church on career transition, and I did the research. I brought the top 10 courses between now and 2030. And I said, no matter where you are, and if you don't add digital to it, you might soon go into extinction. Until now, they are still sending, there are still many of them that when they keep saying thank you. So that is it. That is my why. So it is now over 35 years. I'm still pursuing that why. So your why will also guide you. Then the most important one is that you will have an inner witness. You will have an inner witness. You will have an inner witness telling you this is what this thing you are doing. Mm, go ahead with it. That inner witness is the ultimate, because if you don't have that inner witness, you will always, you what happen, you burn out comes in. Even that inner witness will be when to tell you when to stop, when not to stop, what to do. You consult with. So those are the major things. Then once you're able to do all of that, then the next thing is take time to analyze your past to your present, so that you can use to improve in your future. So you find out what are the limiting beliefs that have been holding you back from dealing with all of these issues you have raised. For example, because I apply all of these things, I realized that there were like two limiting beliefs. One of them was the economy. Then I now told myself, you must give yourself the right answer, you must rephrase it. Why should I be bothered about the economy? Is it not God that sent me to this world? And there's no scarcity with God. I am connected to God, and God and I, we are one. So his resource, he is the source, and is the one that provides the resources. And because I'm connected to the source, the resources from the source, it sounds like tautology, isn't it? I'm connected to the source. Resources from the source to me can never run dry. So I was able to deal with that limiting belief. Then the second limiting belief that I was able to deal with was this issue of, maybe there's this silent fear of evil powers, wicked spirits, and the rest. And I told myself, it's a disgrace to my God. God does not have rival. God does not have a competitor. There is no another God. It's only one God, and it's the only one that created the whole world. So God is absolute one. There is no another God. He does not have any competitor. So from that time, things don't happen to me anymore. Things happen for me. Everything around me, they work together for my good. So all of these things that I've said, they are we have them in two assessment tools. One helping you to discover your area of strength, one helping you to discover your area of purpose. Then you now synchronize these two to now marry your passion together with your skills, together with your intention, together with your purpose. All of them become one. So 24 hours, you live one life. The way I'm talking to you now, that is the way I will talk in the church.
Everything
That is the
will
way I will talk
align.
in the village meeting. That is the way I will talk in my house. Yes, everything aligns. If it is not that way, even when it comes to tax, it is teaching, because that is where I know is in alignment with my own. So it is easy for me to say no to what is not in alignment. I don't need to pray about it before I say no. The no comes naturally. And that is another level of the self mastery journey. Another level, ability to say no without feeling guilty, because you cannot be everything
Yeah.
to everybody. And once you stay in your passion, in your somebody saying village people. Yeah, they are nothing like village people. God, God, everything works for me and not against me and not to me. Okay, sorry for
No.
that distraction. So now now let me try to, because I'm looking at the time, let me try to move it forward a bit, because self mastery has two aspects. You have your inner victory, like I said, then your outer victory. So your inner victory is what I've been dealing with since. You work on personal effectiveness, whereby your personal talent, energy, and time is effectively used for things that are of greater value. Then you allocate your time, making sure that time is more important than money. You make sure your time works for you. So in that one, you are a quadrant two practitioner. That is, you spend time to look at things that are important, even though not urgent. So you create time for them. Your health, your values, meditation, connection with your creator, relationship, vacation, all of those are things that structures your life, but it takes determination to do that. So they are important, they are not urgent. So you become a quadrant two practitioner. Then after you become a quadrant two practitioner, you now move on to begin to carry all you have known to achieve specific goals. And what is a goal? A goal is a dream with a deadline, full stop, no grammar. If there's no deadline, it's not a goal, it's just a mere wish. So your your pet, with regards to allocating your time from lower value to higher value, it is towards achieving a goal at a time. That is a dream with a deadline. And that goal must be smarter, not just smart, specific, measurable, attainable, time bound. You evaluate and you review all the time, or you reward, not you reward yourself. So once you are able to do that, tie all of this. After this, I will now move to the second part. All of this I'm saying now is this first part, inner victory. All of this is tied to living, envisioning the best version of yourself. That is, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? You cascade it down. Next 5 years, long term. Cascade it down to 3 years, medium term. Cascade it down to 1 year, short term. Cascade it down to monthly, to daily. So that picture of that 5 years, where you see yourself, it gives you that impetus to keep flying, to keep working. So you are not just setting goals, you are a growth oriented person. Growth, growth, because with growth you can never end. You know, John Massey talks about it so much. So all of this prepares you for the second phase. The second phase is relating with other people. So this all we have said since is inner victory. So now, how do I now use it? Remember, I told you that you are a solution to the world. How do I now use it to become solution to the world? That brings us to another level of self-mastery, emotional intelligence, ability to manage your emotion, your feelings, no, ability to first understand
Yeah.
your emotions, manage them, and also understand that of the other person you are dealing with, and manage them and your own, so that the outcome of every relationship or every transaction is a win-win thing. So it is not that I have won, he has lost. No, that is not maturity. It is a win-win. So you that brings you to emotional intelligence. And when we're talking about that emotional intelligence, it also starts with self-awareness. Then after that, you now talk about knowing your moods, your that is your mood, your weaknesses and the rest, and then managing your mood. Then number four, empathy. You put yourself in other people's shoes and making sure that you always have excuse for them, so that you don't just continue to um, grow wide. Then number five, you manage the relationship. So you are self-aware, then you manage that self-awareness, Then number three, empathy. Put yourself in other people's shoes. Then you are motivated with that to now build relationship. So you don't. Nobody is useless. Nobody can be like you. If two people are the same thing, then one person is useless. So you celebrate the differences in everybody. Then you find out how you can be neutral to all personalities, making sure you have a bit of every personality in you to relate with every personality to get some of those results that will be happy, that everybody will be happy with. That's what Apostle Paul meant by saying that he's everything to everybody so that they can win some. And we also have tools that we use in doing this exercise so that you can find out your dominant personality. Once you identify your dominant personality, you play down on your dominant personality to begin to relate with others.
Mm-hmm.
So when I talk to teachers, I tell them that your dominant personality, you must play down on it. That is why some teachers, if the teacher is outgoing, those people who are outgoing like him, they become their friends. Then they will not begin to tell others who are not outgoing, can't you behave like that person, which is wrong. You cannot change anybody. You can only change yourself to relate with that person at that person's level. You get it? So that so once you're able to do that, the results and the outcome in your team entirely becomes outstanding because everybody will be manning their different duty posts. A good example is that you cannot have a team of 11 players made up of all goalkeepers. It's not possible. Everybody now man their duty post and nobody is useless because according to Ken Blanchard, none of us is as smart as all of us.
Yeah.
So once you're able to do that, you see you have moved from yourself now, you are influencing other people and you are getting greater
Okay.
results.
Can
Another
I ask
thing is that
can I ask
as you
you a
are
question
getting,
before you go
yes,
on?
go
This
ahead, go
afternoon,
ahead.
there's a coach I follow, coaching God. She's a growth habit expert. So she talked about auditing our relationship. I know what relationship can make us or break us, a lot of things. So from what you are
Yeah.
trying to say, you are being very inclusive, which, for example, also during the live session today, she said it's not about cutting off anyone, it's about knowing how to what extent to deal with them. So how would you go about auditing this different relationship? Because people, I think, apart from a load work, people are relating with people is one of the most difficult things that can happen. We have different backgrounds, we have different upbringing, we have different personality. Some of us are very, very sensitive. Some people, you tell them good morning, they'll ask you what is good about the money. They are angry because you are happy. So how do you audit those things to still really get yourself, still feel that empathy and all those things you are saying?
Okay. Thank you. That is a very good question. You know, it also starts with the issue of awareness. Once you know your dominant trait, because we have everybody have a bit of all the personality in us, but you know your dominant trait, and each dominant trait have their strengths and weaknesses, have their
Mm-hmm.
pluses and the minuses. So you downplay the minuses, you improve on the pluses. So you improve on those positive side
Yes,
on
sir.
your own traits. Then you also take time to study people. Immediately, the first thing we are told, we have an African proverb that says, when a chicken gets to a strange land, it stands on one leg.
Okay.
So,
I've not heard
so
of
that
it.
if it's not possible to put the
It goes
second
back.
leg down, let it better
Okay.
run back. So when the chicken gets to a strange land, it stands on one leg. It's just checking. Am I comfortable to put the second leg down? If not, let me just turn back with this one leg and going back to where I'm coming from. What does that mean? As you are meeting with this person, whether on phone, virtual, anything, the first thing is try to understand the person's temperament, understand the person's um, dominant trait and try to relate with the person from the way you see the person. But and if it is with time, it's a matter of continually discussing with them. What do you think? You keep opener questions. This is what I want you to do. How do you feel? What do you want us to do? And you study the body language, because the body language carries the largest part of
Communication.
communication. In John Maxwell's book, Everybody Communicates, Few Connect, it spoke so much. 75% of our connection is with our body language. So you look at the body language and you relate with that person based on the feedback you are getting. Then another aspect again is that you learn, they learn from you. So quickly you put the cards down, whereby this is the way I want things, this is the way things are done. If, for example, you've already laid the card down that look, we must all relate with one another and learn to forgive. As soon as you say that, in a way, there's a way the universe makes it. Something will come that will trigger your anger. God help you that you remember that you said we learn to forgive. If you do not remember, then you are losing out in relationship, because they will not come back. And even if they did not tell you, maybe you are the boss, not come back. Look at somebody who is saying we should learn to forgive. Just only small tea that poured on a sheet of paper, ordinary white paper, he was slapping somebody, you would have lost it. So the first way to yourself, the first is self audit, then second one is living exemplary life, and then the third one is learning from others and understanding them with a bid to make sure that you are with them at the same level, so that you can get a win-win outcome. That is the way I want to put it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, I've talked about emotional intelligence. There's another aspect which a lot of people downplay, is allowing people to define success for them.
Yeah.
Success means different thing to different people. So don't take another person's own to your own. Otherwise, you will be frustrated. For me, success is finding out your purpose and giving it 110% attention. Not 100, 110, because you give it your entire 100%, then expect at least 10% from others. That is success. And I can give you a quick example. I remember there was a time we were training in Access Bank on Allen Avenue in Lagos, Nigeria. And during break, I strolled 3 blocks away on the street to my former colleagues in one of the branches of the banks where I worked. In between going and coming back within these 3 blocks, 3 or 4 blocks, I met 2 people who stopped me on the way, and they said, "Hey, how are you? Ah, Igho, it's nice to meet you. I was at so program we did the other time, and see, I have this, I have this, I have this. Oh, I'm very, very happy." Another person, 2 people. If you see how elated
Yeah.
I was, I'm sure people driving past will be wondering, who is this guy trekking and sounding so happy and excited? What concerns me concern you in your G wagon? For me, I am successful, because I said success is finding your purpose, giving it 110%. And this is 110% result I'm already getting. Just 3 blocks away, trekking on the streets, and people are saying that their lives are already transformed by listening to me. Who am I, if not by the grace of
That's it.
God? So I'm grateful to God, and I'm thanking Him. Even though I was trekking, that's where I'm
Yeah.
going. That
Yeah.
time, I'm
Yeah.
successful. I don't care whether you are in your private
That's
jet or
it.
not. So that's another thing. Let nobody define success for you. Define success for yourself and use it as a yardstick. It also brings about humility, because we are who we are by the grace
That's
of
it.
God. Then another new entrance into self mastery is the issue of living in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people dwell so much in their past, then move again to their future, making their present to be useless. And a wise man once said that if you do not allow your past to pass away, you may pass away with your past. Then they go again to the future, thinking of what will happen tomorrow. And now, where you are now, you are useless. You are not concentrating. You are not focusing. So you are not getting the maximum result. So we also take time to teach that living in the moment, learning how to be grounded, and also taking in everything about the moment so that you can get maximum results. So you are communicating with somebody, you caution yourself, you call yourself, my spirit, my soul, my body, come here right now, pay attention. And you are not paying attention to respond, you are paying attention first to connect. And after that, you come to the same level with the person you are connecting with, then you can respond adequately. So we take time to also teaching how to live in the moment. For example, deep breath. It helps to reduce a lot of stress. Another one is meditation. Another one is your ability to always live continuously in the center of gratitude. That's why I said things happen for me, not to me. Everything is working together for my good. Like I used to say, I'm from Delta State in Nigeria. They're not born that devil. Where is he? They're not born now. He can't come near. Angel Michael will slap that. so so you live in absolute gratitude in everything. You are living in the moment. Then you remember I've talked about envisioning the best version of
Yeah.
yourself. So you are using it to prepare for tomorrow, because when you live in the moment and you maximize it today, it's a seed you have sown. The harvest will be your tomorrow and your future, and it becomes brighter. But if you do not maximize the moment and use it very well for greater results, the outcome will become bad,
That's true.
and it is very, very painful. I knew I would do this before I retired, and I started doing it as a side gig 2 years before I retired. The day I retired, February 7th, I didn't pray on what next will I do. I woke up to know exactly what I need to
That's
do,
it.
because I have been living in the moment before then, and now I cannot reap and get a better harvest of the present. So we emphasize that learn to live in the moment. And if you're able to do that, your inner victory will affect others through your personal, through emotional intelligence, through not allowing somebody else define your success for you. And then at every time you're living in the moment, it makes you to get so connected, and you build strong relationships. And relationship, the law of relationships state that you are not more than four people away from the person that will connect you to the next level. Now that I know that you are in Germany, the next time I'm around, I just say, hey, if I'm around though, I want to come and drink
Yes,
pepper
sir.
soup. You have no
Yes,
choice.
privileged. I'm privileged to have that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
Thank
know,
you.
you talked about living in the moment. I struggled with that before. I really
Mm, mm,
struggled with that. I'm a person that I am either thinking about the past and just thinking about it, not just reflecting and trying to move forward, or I am running to the future. I was not. Ask me what is the color of the house I'm staying in. I don't know.
mm.
I don't
Thank you.
know. That was the
Mm,
situation I was until I had to, when I went into stress management and I started seeing the benefit of being present, deep breathing, and this great gratitude. Gratitude is
mm.
for me what brings me peace. Anytime
Yeah.
I go through a lot of things, if I have to cry, I have to cry. The next thing is, okay,
Yeah.
what am I grateful for now? On Sunday, let me give you an example. On Sunday, we're supposed to go to church. And I went into my car. My car could not move anymore. I felt so heavy because of work. I've missed church and I had a service, what do you call it? I had work to do in the church, in the prayer group. I felt so heavy. I came back home. I was just heavy. You understand? Then some tears came out. Then I started writing, okay, why am I feeling bad? And I wrote them down because I like to take things from my body and down. I started looking at what was I grateful for. The night before, my daughter picked me from the train station very late in the night. She's 18, and that thing could have happened to her on the road. But we parked the car and the thing happened. So I was so
Wow.
grateful. Just thinking about that made me happy already. I said, oh, thank God she didn't happen to her on the road. So being grateful, being grateful for that moment is really grounding. So thank you so much for that. Thank you. We can keep
Thank
talking. Sir, you are coming back. Oh, I
Anytime,
know it's not easy, but please, you are
anytime,
coming back. It has really
anytime,
been
anytime.
a great one. So before I let you go, I want to ask you just one question. Someone that is watching us and saying, oh my God, we've had so much information, emotional intelligence, that and that. What can they start doing now to work in this self mastery? What one thing, what two, because I believe in changing one or two habits at a time. What one or two things can you give to them to say, okay, start with this today, right now? What would that be?
Oh, thank you very much. And that is identify one habit you do not like and determine to change it within the next 30 days. Because psychology says that anything you practice consistently for 21 days becomes part of you. So I'm only adding extra to make it 30 days. So, what is that habit? Identify it because you cannot pray away bad habits. You know, Christians, all is good, come and help me. There are some things you need to replace it. You replace bad with good. So, what is that habit? If you are the type, for example, that is often getting overwhelmed, then learn to always journal. So, get a journal and write down everything in your head. I always do that. Anybody comes to me and said, oh, I'm having a headache, I'll give the person a piece of paper. So that's why I'm advising this now. I'll give the person a piece of paper. I said, just hold on. I'll give the person a pen. I said, I'm giving you the next 10, 15 minutes. Everything you have in your head, write it down. The next appointment, the clothes you want to watch, the place you want to go, write all of them down. Then allocate time and days to each of them. Find out the one that is most important, not only one, and do that and leave the remaining ones. If you can do that for the next 30 days, you will come and give me offering. I'll send you my account number so that you can.
I can testify.
And don't blame yourself. Oh. Everyone, don't blame yourself. We have an adage that says the day you wake up is your morning.
That is it.
So start now. And I told you, start it now for the next 30 days. You will thank God that you listen to this
Yeah.
broadcast. So, with these few points of mine, I hope I have not confused you,
So,
but
yeah.
convince you that self mastery is a journey we all should take because it is for our own good. Love you. God bless you.
Wow, wow, wow. I believe we have we have more clarity, and you broke
Amen.
it down in a way that anyone can understand, anyone can take it, and anyone can run with it. And some of the things you said, I can just say 100% to it because I started doing them, and I can tell you how enriched my life can be. This one that you said, put things on your head. This is what I did yesterday morning when I felt sad. I said, okay, what is really what is behind what is worrying me? At the end of the day, it was money because now I need to repair the car. Okay, but nobody died. So it left my head, left my heart. It was on paper. It was on
Yeah.
paper. So please, you guys, try these things. And if you really want to go in depth, you want to really achieve more, you want to live purposefully, you want to know what success is to you, we've learned it. You want to find your purpose and go out 110% doing it. Please, I'm going to
Yeah.
leave our coach link down and you're going to register back for him. So before we go, I have a self-care masterclass that is coming up July 26th. I will also leave the link. And every day we move, we rest when we are tired. No, you don't rest when you are tired. You rest so that you can do much better. So those are the part of the things we'll be talking about in that self-care masterclass. It's just 2 to 3 hours with me. And if you need more intensive time, you can also book a one-on-one coaching class. Thank you so much for today.
All
Watch
right.
the replay.
Thank
If
you.
you have any questions to me or to my coach, my guest, please send them. God bless you all.
Right. Thank you. Bye
Bye.
bye.